The gaming industry has been probably in the most insane spot I've ever seen the past 4 months. Dare I even say the past year. We've been watching as the entire RAM apocalypse has been devouring and destroying almost every piece of technology and electronics ever since December of 2025. Think about how bad that's actually been. Hell, maybe even earlier before that, as the actual RAM mafia has caused every other major game company to increase their prices of their consoles, their games, and even their services. To make matters even worse and even more insane, earlier this July, PlayStation announced they're no longer going to be making physical discs for their games starting in 2028, leaving everybody wondering and thinking about what they're going to be doing with their entire library of video games for next generation, whether staying with PlayStation for PS6 or jumping ship to something else, something like either the Xbox Helix or even PC gaming. And this is where things get really insane, because not only have consoles increased in price, massive PC components have also exponentially increased in price as well. We're watching as Nvidia is going to be increasing the price of their GPUs again for a third time, even though they're going to be the ones responsible for the entire AI bubble impacting all the pricing in gaming right now. So literally everybody in the gaming space is unequivocally, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, cooked. Because clearly many people don't know what they're going to be doing, where they're going to be going, or even if their library of games is ever going to be safe, especially after what we saw the last couple of days, where both Xbox and PlayStation had major outages in their own networks, stopping people from in fact playing their own video games that they bought. It got so bad that even games on the disc that Xbox has couldn't even work physically as well either. But even with all of these things happening in the space right now, people are looking for other options, other ways of actually owning their digital content or even their games directly. And two options may be coming down the pipe for them. On one side, you've got Valve and Steam and even PC gaming, having the ability to know which games have DRM, which games are available to you to buy, and which ones are going to be, in fact, DRM free and don't require any access to Steam in the first place, and you actually own that game. Believe it or not, quite a few games on Steam don't even use Steam's own DRM. It's actually pretty cool. Baldur's Gate 3 is a perfect example. So's Mouse PI for Hire. Check those out if you haven't already. The other option, however, though, is going to be with Xbox. After Project Helix was announced just earlier this year, the rumors going around were saying that it's going to be a console PC hybrid, meaning it's going to have access to full Windows and multiple storefronts as well. And we've already seen a perfect example of what the Helix could in fact do with the Asus ROG Ally X. This bad boy right here is an Xbox device. Gives me access to Xbox PC, but also Steam, Battle.net, Epic Games, and even GOG. And that's exactly what I think people are going to be looking for. The thing is, though, there's a problem. It looks like Microsoft and Xbox could in fact be backtracking on the entire idea of having an open platform for their next console, or PC, or whatever you want to call it on the back end. Personally, this could have massive ramifications of what's going to be happening in the gaming space with Xbox and whether or not they're going to actually compete in being able to give you proper ownership of your video games, especially with what PlayStation has been doing recently. And we'll touch on that later on in this video. Trust me, you don't want to miss that spot. But I think the rumors about Steam no longer being available on the Xbox Project Helix may be happening not because of what Xbox wants to do or because of what PlayStation is doing. I think it's because Microsoft and Xbox know they're going to have a hell of a hard time keeping up with Steam, especially after what we found out recently about GOG as well. Because according to PC Gamer on Twitter posting, GOG confirms it is working on getting GOG Galaxy running on Linux. Now, some of my more savvy viewers may say to themselves, Alex, what are you talking about? GOG already works on Linux. I use Lutris. I use the Heroic launcher. I'm a Linux pro, baby. Yeah, look, this isn't for you guys. This is actually for people who have no idea what even a command line is or how to even use anything like SteamOS or Catchy. The real factor about it is going to be this, though. Ever since the Steam Machine's launch at $1,000, to me personally, it was far too expensive. And some of the big issues with Linux on its own, even though Proton has been doing incredibly well on providing you an actual layer of being able to play all your games from Windows, even the older ones run actually far better on Linux Proton than they do on Windows 11 on their own. Trust me, it's a crazy thing. I don't need any DX wrappers to make games run. It's actually kind of wild. The difference now, though, is you're going to be seeing potentially in the future actual native support for GOG games on Linux itself, giving more value to the Steam Deck or the Steam machine and even SteamOS on its own. Even though right now we're watching as SteamOS is beginning to grow in its actual user base and people are beginning to understand that Linux really isn't that hard to use at all. And this is why I was so supportive of the Steam machine, seeing as how the increased price of GPUs, RAM, and everything else, this device could have been the perfect spot if Valve would have just done the one thing they should have done, which is take a massive price hit on the actual device itself. We could have seen a huge renaissance in the Linux community and even proper game ownership. Being able to access Steam, GOG, and everything else under the sun and having proper digital ownership of your games is exactly what people are in fact looking for right now. And GOG doing the actual work to decouple themselves away from Windows and provide their entire Galaxy app and even their games natively on Linux is exactly what people are looking for. And if GOG continues to improve and grow, it could provide proper competition and actual ownership of this space and give users the ability to buy a game knowing it's actually theirs. But there's more to the article, so let's keep going. With PC Gamer saying, GOG Galaxy, GOG's official app, is the best way to play GOG games on PC, and it's been lacking Linux support ever since it arrived. But an official Linux version is reportedly in the works, even if we don't have a confirmed date. That is according to Gaming on Linux, which spoke to joint CEO Krzysztof Peplinski, and Peplinski said, Linux continues to be one of the topics we hear the most about from our community, and we really appreciate the passion and patience of everyone who's been asking about it. They continue, following the role we announced earlier this year, we now have the specialist on board and are actively exploring the best way to approach Linux support for GOG Galaxy. This is a significant undertaking, so while we're not ready to share any specific plans, timelines, or results just yet, it's very much an area we're investigating time and effort into. We're excited about the possibilities and we'll be happy to share more when the time is right. Now, this is going to be massive. Think about it from this perspective. A storefront, an app that lets you buy all of your games, and then you actually own them. You own the installers. You have them in your library. You can download the actual installer without needing the GOG Galaxy app and play that on any device, whether it's Windows or even Linux. And if you really wanted to, you could actually burn those installation files onto a disk or place them onto a different hard drive or even a USB stick or an SD card and own those games physically. You don't have to do anything else. You own those files. They're yours forever. It's almost as good as piracy. Dare I say, even better. Because this time, not only do you own your games, you're also giving your money to the developers who in fact made that in the first place, which really is a win-win. It's almost like piracy itself is in fact a service problem and nothing more than that. And we've been seeing how completely important it is for people to in fact feel like they're owning their games, giving people digital rights, giving people DRM-free games, and understanding that this entire thing is all about actual ownership. If you're going to give a company the money for a product, you should in fact own that product. They shouldn't be able to go into your library and remove it, like Sony did with 500 plus movies being removed from PlayStation owners. Or even then, not having access to your own library because the internet is in fact down and you can't play your game because you didn't do a 14-day online DRM check-in. Now, things could get even crazier though. Because of the work with Proton and what Valve has been doing with Linux, it would behoove GOG and everybody else to go through and reach out to Valve and Gabe and say, hey, what can we do to make these games run easier on Linux as well? How do we port the OG GOG Galaxy and everything else like that to this platform and provide all these users who are now getting Steam machines or have Steam Decks or are moving to Linux on SteamOS or even Catchy the ability to play these games natively on their own hardware and have the ownership for it. This would be a huge win for not only Valve, but also for GOG as well, opening them up to an entire new user base that had to use third-party applications like Heroic or Lutris before to even play those games. And here is where the rubber is going to in fact meet the road. Ever since Valve launched SteamOS, and ever since they've gone through and said we're going to go ahead and start competing in this space and bringing an open platform into the actual user, Microsoft and Xbox have been, well, a bit scared. Dare I even say, quite terrified, because it looks like even now, Xbox and Microsoft may be thinking quite differently about what Helix could be and where they plan to go with it. The thoughts of Steam and everything else being in one box could be out the wayside. But who knows, except Jez Corden. Because according to Jez on Twitter saying, a big elephant in the room with Xbox Helix being an open console means a big price point, with an analysis, with Xbox Ally's users' behavior in the information as well. With the RAM apocalypse, PlayStation quitting Steam, and younger gamers choosing mobile games, does Steam on Helix even make sense anymore? With the article stating, if Xbox Helix is indeed an open PC, Xbox would have no choice but to price it like an open PC. The Xbox Ally also costs $999 because Asus cannot make their money back on the software sales, given that they have no redistribution platform of their own. Thanks to the RAM apocalypse, those wafer-thin margins get even trickier. I've been told Xbox is losing around $150 per Xbox Series X and S sold recently due to the memory price increases, and will continue to lose money per device even after the planned August 2026 price hike. Now imagine 50% or more of those Xbox Series X and X users bypass the Xbox ecosystem and went straight to Steam to buy games. The margins would be even worse without any form of software sales subsidy. Xbox wouldn't have a business at all. Here's where I think a lot of people are completely misunderstanding what's been going on with Xbox, Microsoft, and even what Helix could in fact be. Right now on my PC, I use Windows and I use SteamOS on a separate drive. I can literally bypass Windows completely across the board. Hell, even on Windows PCs right now, I can completely bypass the Xbox PC app and the Microsoft Store. I'm not beholden to any other application on this operating system. The difference is that Xbox has to compete for my money. They don't just get it because I simply use an OS or buy the box. And I think that is exactly where people are trying to not understand what Xbox could be doing rather than what they are doing. It's very easy for a lot of console manufacturers and people who have only played on consoles to not understand the actual PC gaming space. How is Xbox going to make money? How are they going to go ahead and get game sales to subsidize their hardware? Well, in reality, they probably won't subsidize their hardware, even if they're going to go ahead and give you a closed box ecosystem. What Xbox and Microsoft have to do is one thing and one thing only, and that is compete directly with Valve. Xbox needs to stop and look at both GOG and Valve and say, what are they doing that is making people spend money on their applications rather than the Xbox PC app? And even though it's incredibly cool that Xbox is doing full backwards compatibility with OG Xbox and even 360 games on the PC app itself, which is incredibly nice to see, it's still not enough. There should be the ability for people to have the direct installation files. There should be the ability for people to have direct games on their library, DRM free, that Xbox cannot remove from their own systems, even if licenses were to expire. There should be a better refund policy. There should be proper forums. There should be proper community workshops. Everything that Valve and GOG have should be jam-packed into the Xbox PC App Store right now, and even more should be added there as well. I think that's the one thing people don't truly get. It's not about exclusive games. It's not about being able to go ahead and provide better prices of games. What it's truly about is providing less friction for the user to enjoy the games on your platform, on your storefront, and being able to provide them a sense of calm and peace when they give you their actual money, knowing they own the thing they bought. But the thing is, there's even more to the article by Jez, so let's keep going. With the article also stating, indeed, internal documents from around last winter received and verified by Windows Central offer some insights into how Microsoft's Xbox Ally Gaming PC is going on that front. Around 75% of Xbox Ally owners also own Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. which is an impressive figure, but the purchasing behavior of non-subscription holders offers a bleak picture for the Xbox PC Store attach rate, and insight into how Xbox Helix could go if it were, quote, open. Of non-subscribing users, if an Xbox Ally user was also an Xbox console owner, around a quarter of those users also made purchases on the Xbox PC ecosystem. However, if the Xbox Ally owner was not an Xbox console owner, that figure dropped to a measly 2%, suggesting that almost 100% of non-Xbox owning new Xbox Ally owners simply went straight to Steam. If Xbox Helix became a de facto Steam box for new users, the profitability would have to come out of the upfront hardware costs. Otherwise, Microsoft stands to potentially lose millions on the hardware ecosystem in general. With the RAM apocalypse and user behavior data from the Xbox Ally experiment, Microsoft might be reconsidering the aspect of the box. Otherwise, it stands to just accelerate another generation of users to free-to-play games, Steam, and mobile slop. I'm gonna be real. Literally, part of the RAM apocalypse was also caused by Microsoft themselves. Satya Nadella should be the one taking the hit out of everything more than anybody in this company right now for the increased cost of all the RAM. This guy literally has gone through and stated to everyone that he has massive amounts of RAM, GPUs, and everything else sitting on racks literally cold because there isn't enough electricity to even power those data centers in the first place. The guy has been obsessed with AI and Copilot. He's pushed everything across the board. Personally, Microsoft should pull his salary out and use that money to pay for all the Xboxes that they should be bringing back down to MSRP level. But hey, that's just one guy talking a lot of stuff here on YouTube. What truly matters in this space right now, though, is whether or not Xbox and Microsoft can provide proper value to the actual customer to switch from using Steam instead and using the Xbox PC app. No amount of exclusives, no amount of anything will stop anyone from using Valve and Steam rather than going through and providing a different form of value. That's why GOG is so successful. Even though their library is smaller, there's more value to buying on GOG than there is to buying on Steam because you actually own the game. But Jez Corden offered a couple of options. Let's see what he had to say. Option 1, some kind of paywall or subscription to open up third-party stores. This one seems fairly unlikely to me, frankly, but I've seen some suggest that Xbox could set up some kind of paywall to trigger access to Steam and other storefronts. Option 2, semi-open revenue sharing model with Epic Games on PC or other strategic partners. One thing that struck me as odd is when Phil Spencer talked about the next generation Xbox having other stores. He actually never did mention Steam. He mentioned things like GOG and Epic Game Store, but he never actually did say Steam itself would be on the box to my knowledge. And option 3 would be a fully open, absurd price point and all. The third and final option, perhaps it will simply sport a PC-style price tag. Perhaps the plan is for Xbox Series X and S to have unnaturally long lifespans, and for Xbox Cloud Gaming to do some heavy lifting for those who can't afford the unaffordable console future. So I think the best option for Microsoft will be, in fact, option 3. Even though the pricing will be insane, they are providing other ways of giving you access to other games. And people who are incredibly hardcore into that space would look at it and say, yeah, I'll buy this more expensive piece of device that outperforms a Steam machine, that gives me access to every storefront, and provides me everything that I need, even though it is more expensive. And at the same time, they still have their entire Xbox library, now have their Steam library, and even GOG as well. We're in a space right now where you're going to have to be paying a large upfront fee to basically game on anything in the future. In my opinion, things are only going to get worse, which is why I wanted the Steam machine to in fact be more affordable and even more successful than it is right now. But as I said before, the best way for Xbox to in fact gain users on using the Xbox app rather than going to Steam would be to provide proper value, digital ownership, better pricing for their games, more games in general, more forums. Everything that becomes a creature comfort inside of Valve in the first place should already be added into the Xbox PC app. Hell, it should have been done 10 years ago if you ask me. And don't give me the argument about exclusivity. On the PC platform, that's not going to work. PC gamers would rather wait for the game to leave the Epic Games Store and hit Steam rather than buying the game on Epic in the first place. Think of it from that perspective. So Xbox is going to have to do more for the customer and provide better value if they want to go ahead and compete with Steam. And that's going to be the big trick of all of this. It may be more expensive with the Project Helix being totally open, but if Xbox and Microsoft can actually compete properly, it'll be better for everybody overall. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. If Project Helix doesn't support Steam, will you pick one up? If it does support Steam and it's expensive, will you still buy one then? Or are you going to stick with what you have right now in terms of hardware? And are you excited about GOG potentially putting their games directly onto Linux? I want to hear what you got to say. And speaking about what you got to say, here's the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With Diddles posting, put the disc in the box or put the fries in the bag. Hey, yo, remind me to never get angry or talk smack about my community ever again. You guys are savages. Jesus. Wow. Okay, look, I know where my bread is buttered. I'm not going to mess with Diddles at all, and I don't think you should either. Jeez. He's right, though. He's out of line, but he's right. But as always, if you guys want to see more of this kind of content though, more gaming hot takes, more gaming news, PC port reviews, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during those streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend $1, don't even worry about it, bro. Just come on down to the live stream right on this channel, Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live as I wear a banana suit and get insulted with text-to-speech. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Saturday nights live, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. Do you want even more of me though? Check out Oh No It's Alex Gaming. Link to that channel is in the description down below. New videos go out every single Monday, and I live stream games there daily. Monday to Friday, 10:30 a.m. to around 2 p.m. Come on down, hang out, and laugh as I continually just lose it trying to play games on the hardest difficulty and continually get made fun of by everybody in chat. Honestly, they're the absolute best community, and you're going to love just hanging out with me as I get you through your workday. Oh no, it's Alex Gaming. Link to the channel is in the description down below. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!